So this is dangerous. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. No homilist wants to look out and see everybody's eyes closed, but I know you won't be sleeping. I want you to participate in this homily, so close your eyes. I want you to imagine that you have died. You know that you have died because you're not on the earth any longer, you're not in your body, but you still know, you still have sense about you, but it's kind of dark where you are. And you listen, and you can hear people. And they're happy. They're joyful. It sounds like a celebration. You hear a little singing. You're like, I must be right on the doorstep of heaven. And you call out, Lord, Lord, let me in. And you hear the response, I tell you, I do not know where you are from. And you can hear some evil rustlings back behind you getting closer, wailing and grinding of teeth and difficult things. And it's a little scary, and you call out again, Lord, Lord, you know me. I went to church on the weekends. Well, most weekends I went to church. Well, unless the kids had sports stuff or I just didn't really feel like it. And I received the sacraments when it was convenient for me. And I prayed to you. I prayed, Lord. Sometimes, well, when things were really difficult or hard, or I really, really wanted something, Lord, let me in. And he says, I tell you, I do not know where you are from. And as you hear the gate locked, you also hear him say, I am sad for the choice you made. Now open your eyes. I want to make sure everybody's still awake. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a little sobering. And some of you might say, Deacon, that is not my God. That is not the way God is. God is loving. God is merciful. God forgives. God wants the best for me. And I said, yes, that is him. And that is what he wants. But what was at the tag at the end when the gate was being locked? He said, I am sad for the choices that you made, that I made. The choices. I didn't discipline myself. I didn't do what I knew I should do. How can I relate to that? Well, let me tell you, anybody here who's a parent can relate to the second reading, which talks about you got to discipline, right? And you have to receive discipline. And it's hard at the time, but it's necessary for how we'll live our lives. Joyce and I are parents of 4, and we had to discipline, and I can tell you we did not like to discipline. But we knew it was important for how the kids would develop and how they would grow. So we told them, look, this is the rules of the house. This is the expectations. If you're going to be a member of this family, you have to contribute to the family. Because if you don't, there are consequences. And if you do, there's good consequences. And Joyce, because we didn't like the discipline, she made a little sign on the back of a business card. They're pretty little. And she put it right on the refrigerator at the eye level of a 7-year-old. And it said, when you choose the behaviors, you choose the consequences. And they never really asked her or I what that meant. I'll give you an example. They each had a little chore list, right? You got to contribute to the family. And we said, by the way, when you do your chores by this time at night, you're actually going to receive some monetary reward. You get a quarter for this, you get a quarter for that, a quarter for that. They're excited. We said, oh, but by the way, if you don't do them by this time at night, that means mom or I have to do that chore. And if we have to do that chore, you pay us that amount. And you could hear a little bit of, well, that's not fair. We said, the chore's got to be done. There's a reward for doing the chore. Who receives the reward? So you're right, if you don't do the chore on Monday, when you do the chore on Tuesday, you're back at even, and then can progress. Because we didn't like to discipline, but we knew if they understood discipline and they learned to make good choices when they were young in small matters, they could make good decisions as they got older with good consequences. Did we love our children, and do we still love our children? Yes. Does God love his children? Yes. He did kind of the same thing. He said, look, you're going to be a member of the family. There's some guidelines. You got to contribute. Now, I know there's some things that you can't do, and the hardest one I'm going to send my son to do for you. He's going to die on the cross for you and be risen and open the gates of heaven. But there are things you need to do, so let me give you a couple of guidelines, like the 10 Commandments. Let me give you some guidelines, like the Beatitudes. I'm going to give you a church so that you have people around you who can help you and understand what it is to be a Christian and to be a Catholic and to be a contributing member and to love people and to do my will. They will teach you how to pray, not just rote prayers. They're going to teach you how to pray to me in person and how to learn to listen so I can talk to you too, so that we really know each other. Because I love you. And I want you to make good choices. Close your eyes again. You know that you have died. You're no longer in your body, but you're not quite in heaven. It's dark, but a little bit lighter. And you can hear people are happy, and they're celebrating, and there's some singing. And you say, I must be at the gates of heaven. You say, Lord, Lord, let me in. And you hear Fred or Linda or Jim or Karen or Mark. You hear your name and he says, I know you. And more importantly, you know me. Welcome home. And he brings you in. And as you walk through the gate together, you hear him say, I am so pleased with the choice you made. Now open your eyes, because you are not dead yet. And you've experienced two different scenarios. And it is not too late. Which scenario do you want to face at the end of your life? I know which one I want to face. And it is not too late for how we choose to live. Because when we choose the behaviors, we choose the consequences.